What's up, gaming heroes, and welcome back to another awesome World of Warcraft video from GamingHero.io. Basically, in this guide, guys, I want to cover how you can get to Renown level 80 in the fastest way possible. Now, originally, I used to just go through Torghast level 10 and just blast it through it until I got to Renown 80. Well, since then, someone left a really good comment on one of the videos saying, hey, Gaming Hero, it's actually more efficient if you level up your Renown through the Zereth Mortis campaign. So I went and experimented this, and I discovered that they were totally correct. You can easily level up to Renown level 80 using the Zereth Mortis campaign in about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how quick you are. And as you get to know the campaign, it gets a lot quicker, as you can see. Now, every single quest, for the most part, gives you 1 Renown, and you're often completing 3 or 4 quests at once, so you really do blast through the Renown very quickly. Now, you do have to bear in mind with one particular thing, is that doing it this method means you will get no additional followers. Now, that's not really a big deal, because typically, you don't need to use all your followers for the vast majority of missions. On all my top level characters, I probably send about 6 to 10 missions every day. And we have plenty of followers to actually fulfill those missions. So the fact of you needing more companions, you don't really need more companions. It does help, obviously, but in all honesty, you don't need them. So you could easily just go with the default companions and blast out to Renown level 80. Using this method of Zereth Mortis campaign grinding, I literally got my entire account to Renown 80 in 2 days. It was so quick, so easy, and it's definitely the way I would recommend going forward. So I do have to say a special thank you for the person who left that comment. I really appreciate it, and I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to them, especially as they originally watched on my original channel as well, and they've always been a great part of this community. So I do appreciate you to the moon and back again. So to do this actual method itself, I'm going to assume that you previously have done the Shadowlands campaign and you've potentially done the Zereth Mortis campaign as well. If you have, that's brilliant. I'm super glad to hear it. Here's how you go forward with this. So the first step is obviously get yourself the Shadowlands mission table set up, do everything you need, and you should have a quest from Ardenweald which says something like the High Lord calls. And that will tell you to go to Oribos and speak to the High Lord, Dorian Morgraine. And you speak to him, and very simply, you speak to him, and he'll tell you a bunch of stuff about Courtier. Just go ahead and press skip through all of that. Every time he gives you a quest, click to talk to him again, and then press skip. And then eventually he'll say, Courtier awaits, and you can go to Courtier and hand that quest in if you want to. You don't have to, it's not a big deal. At this point, you can either abandon it or do it, it's up to you. Just go straight to Zereth Mortis, as you will now be prepared and ready to go ahead and start the campaign for Zereth Mortis. When you get to Zereth Mortis, you'll need to speak to the High Lord in Zereth Mortis, and I believe it's Uther Lightbringer, and both of these will basically lead you through the campaign quests. Just follow those through. You'll know it's campaign quests because all campaign quests have a shield behind them. So as you click in the quest, they'll actually have a funny shield right there, so you'll know I only need to follow the campaign quests which have a shield. That's how you know you're on the right path. From here onwards, it's really quite simple. You are just quite simply following through the campaign and doing what it tells you to do. And typically, it's quite quick and quite easy. I think the majority of my characters I did this on was level 71 plus, so it was an absolute snooze fest in terms of how easy it was to do. But if you're doing it on a lower level character, it might be more challenging. Who knows? It depends really, because a lot of World of Warcraft scales, doesn't it? So my best bet is just do it on as many characters as you possibly can. And if you need to level your character up higher to complete the quest, then do what it tells you to. Now, the beauty of doing this on a lower level character is you might actually be able to level up your character whilst maintaining doing the Renown quest, which could be like a cool hybrid strategy for leveling up your old army as well. Pretty fun, pretty easy, and you get loads of Renown to boot. Now, once you get to Renown 80, the benefit of this is you are getting the best missions possible, and you are going to be getting more anima. It's super important to do, and it's something I highly advise. Now, I'm going to let the video play, and should you have any questions, I'm going to do my best to answer them. as I know typically people will have questions about this. But for me personally, literally the second I have hit level 80 renown, I stopped doing any of the quests. There's no real benefit apart from a little bit of gold. But it's entirely up to you what you choose to do, to be honest. And for me, I just cared about getting the renown next character, so on and so forth. And that was just quick and easy for me. Now, we'll notice that you do kind of need to do 2 campaigns, because you will blast through one campaign and then it will send you back to the original Zereth Mortis village. And then you'll start the next campaign from the High Lord again there. And that's the best place to go. Now, the second campaign is all about like the broken crown. And it's effectively you just turning the Helm of Domination into a new crown. And you just follow that through. Same dealio. It gives you 1 renown per quest for the most part. And you can just blast through. It depends where you are in the renown stages. If you're like really low renown, like level 55, I'm going to assume the majority of you are like level 55. If you're any lower than level 55, it means you've not followed my strategy of doing your renown. So you need to go ahead and start the basic Shadowlands mission table guide that we've got on this channel. And once you get to renown 55 on every one of your characters, that's where you can kind of start from here and go and get your level 80 renown. Because honestly, if you haven't done that, you're going to really struggle. You know, we want to be starting at level 55 renown. Save yourself the time and effort. There's no point starting level 1 renown. It's going to take you forever to get level 80 renown. It's just, you're going to be better off. Now, there is one thing I want to talk about since this video, as I have just slightly changed my mind on how I run this. And that is really simply put, I actually have changed how I go ahead and farm the Shadowlands mission tables. I actually do the reputation as well. Now, when I say I do the reputation as well, what I'm actually saying is when I do the reputation, I actually turn off all the other reputations apart from the wild hunt. So when you're clicking on reputation on the mission table, you can click the drop down menu and it allows you to tick off which reputations you want to do and which ones you don't want to do, basically. And so you can untick, you know, the Ascended, the Venthyr, and the Necrolords, and just do the Wild Hunt. Now, the reason you want to do this is we are now, we've got a warband reputations. So all the reputation you get for the Wild Hunt, it collects as 1 character's worth. So you will quickly find that with 60 level whatevers doing the mission tables, you'll get about 1 to 2 of these a day. And that's an extra 3,500 gold in the bank, just from hitting the maximum reputation with the Wild Hunt. So turning on that is really good. Now, if you wanted to extend this and go even harder on that, you could actually have 1 character with every faction. You could go 1 Necrolord, 1 Ascended, and 1 Venthyr, and then you could just turn all the reputations on. And then that way you could be collecting all of the various warband reputations for each of them. You just have to bear in mind that you have to collect it on that 1 character. But if you don't want to do that, like I can't be bothered to do that, I just stick with the Wild Hunt only, just because I want to make this as simple and easy for me to do over the long term, as that's the way I like to make gold. Consistency and just simplicity. That's it. All right. So that's typically like a slight change that I've discovered with this, just because the Blizzard have changed the system. Now, do bear in mind that this is a really OP way of making gold. And Blizzard could have a chance of further nerfing this in the future, so do just bear it in mind if you do choose to do this. You are running a slight risk with it, but it is really good for now, because I love watching the gold just collect up and increase all the time as I continue to do this strategy. And you can see in this video, I'll add the actual amount of gold we've made so far using this strategy, and I'm working on further ways to drastically increase the amount of gold that I make with my alt army, because trust me when I say having an alt army level 71 plus is an absolutely banging way of making gold. I've been discovering some crazy strategies that are going to be coming up. Possibly the first sign of it will be in the Goblin Diaries number 3, because the Goblin Diaries number 2 is going to talk about the strategy a little bit, but Goblin Diaries number 3 will probably go quite heavily into depth on those strategies, so I'm excited to share that with you. And I really encourage you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, please consider becoming a member of GamingHero.io. We really appreciate all the support. The writers work really hard on the content, and I want you to have a wonderful day. This is Erosium from GamingHero.io. Out.